championships on land. We have James Clemens, the Bullet Bill Barrage, and the Alabama School of Math and Science. They're the driver's ed. I love the team names that the students have put together for us. But right now, starting off, it's our first race of this best of 5. The format is 4v4. Teams send their 4 best racers to land today. We're racing against one another, earning points for their team based on their placement. You get 10 points for the first place in the race. It goes 8-6, 5-4-3-2-1. 6 races per game. Best of 5 to determine the winner on the land today of the AHSAA Play versus Championship in the state of Alabama. Moving to lap 3 here. Blue side, in strong position right now. 2 of the top racers, it looks like. But trying to get a little bit more position as well. Fighting off the red side, we're determining which teams are with at the moment. But Mushrooms are spectating the racer in 6th place right now. Geared up for one last dash. 3 green shells to try and make a pass, but ends up hitting themselves. That drops them down to 7th. They picked up there with the last item box of the race, gets them back into 6th. But on the blue side, starting off well. 3 of the top 4, and that'll net them 26 points, doubling up their opponent here. James Clemens is in the blue, and they are the higher seeded team coming into this matchup. They are undefeated on the season. The Bullet Bill Barrage is from James Clemens. They went 8-0 in the regular season, 16-0 in games, so they did not drop a single game. And Driver's Ed, the Alabama School of Math and Science, 7-1, that one loss coming against James Clemens. So these 2 teams are a little familiar with one another. They met up in week 5. It was a 2-0 in favor of James Clemens, hence the completely undefeated record. But a good start for the Bullet Bill Barrage. Moving to our second race. Get this thing going. Again, James Clemens, a decent start. More even going forward, but the top 2 racers, Brad London and Ziegloff, 22. Been the big moneymakers so far for the Bullet Bill Barrage. They the racers to look out for. At least so far. Maybe their name at the top of the podium on our first race. Math and Science trying to catch up. Along there, taking a couple of racers. Just extend the lead. Our top 2 finishers out of James Clemens' last race. He didn't get around though. Two, dropping back a couple of spaces. Speedwagon in 2nd place now. Racer we're currently spectating. Get familiar with them. We will be watching them for the majority of our races here. Provide us a nice view of this Play versus Championship in the state of Alabama. Again, using that shortcut right before the finish line here. Snag first. No longer giving us a great view of the rest of the pack. Now, just open air in front of us. This is a James Clemens racer. Taking a hold. Currently top of the podium status in the 3rd lap. But this is one of the more difficult Mario Kart tracks. The main Mario Kart 8 lineup. So far, so good. Just one item, though. Defend their first place status, but a lot of green grass between them and second place. But the rest of James Clemens right behind him as well. Going to slow him down, but this is going to be a top 4 sweep unless I see one player fell behind there. The Bullet Bill Barrage did not lose any ground at all. Top 4 placements for James Clemens, and that is a sweep of our second race. 29 points going their way. And we are only 2 races into the first 6 of this first game, but that is a solid start for James Clemens. ASMS, a lot of ground to make up right now. They've got time to do it. They've got experience to do it. They are undefeated since that last matchup against James Clemens, all the way back in week 5. There's a reason they're in the championship right now. Now they have to do it. Rainy setting. Neo Bowser City. Off in front, XXBY, but Space in that first place spot for now. That's what we're going to need. ASMS is going to come back here. A whole lot of first place action. There aren't too many guardrails and a whole lot of sharp turns on this race. Plenty of room for error here. Like you see at the moment, back in their time. Our former first place finisher, 8th place spot right now. They got Mario Karted right there at the end of the first lap. Able to nab someone else's item though. That is an unfortunate pull. But the benefit now of the gap between them and first, a lot of speed. Make up that ground, but look at the mini-map on the right side of the screen. 3 of the top 4 right now. Representatives of ASMS. Exactly what you need. You have to counteract. We just saw out of James Clemens that 4 of 4 finish in the last race. You have to make up ground soon. Put a lot of pressure on yourself. Perform well in the last 2-3 races. Have those finishes. Shell. Take out first place ASMS racer. Looks like they blocked it though. Alone 2 trying to stave off the advancement for James Clemens spectator. No can do, and now once again ASMS. 4 of the top 5 here. Looking good. Of making up ground on Neo Bowser City. There you go, the results. In for race number 3, and they did lose down the stretch a couple of positions. Space, right now at the top for ASMS, and a 30-point difference between James Clemens and ASMS right now, the Bullet Bill Barrage. Doing well to keep that solid lead intact. Moving into race 4 now. We'll move on to Wario Stadium. A classic Mario Kart map. For those that grew up in the early 2000s, playing the DS version. A staple in my eyes of the franchise. Our all-Yoshi roster kicked off here. ASMS. That's the story right now. Need to avenge their Week 5 loss versus James Clemens. A little bit to go. Big victory here in the Grand Finals if they want to take home the championship. AHSAA play versus Mario Kart Finals for the fall semester. Once again, the stack in the front of the race. In there for ASMS, but top 2 spots for the members of the Bulletville Barrage. Mud catching the tires. James Clemens spectator. In 6th place right now, but I do appreciate this player for giving us a good view of the pack for the most part. It was that one win. We got to see the front of the race, instead of the back of racers, but spectator shows over the screen. James Clemens still maintaining a solid grip at the forefront of this track at moment. Top 2 racers, gone in blue, but could change here. One is slowed down temporarily. You would think that would allow ASMS to get up, nab some top 3, but it seems like James Clemens, top 3 racers at the moment. That would get very close to putting this first game of the best of 5 out of reach. Stadium. Going to give us a lot of important results. This first game. We're a reset back here for our spectator. Home Alone 2 and Speedwagon. They need to make up ground soon. They need that final kick. Mario Stadium to be massive for ASMS. There really isn't much room to make up right now. In fact, they've been passed by this James Clemens rep. And they will nab 6th place. As ASMS, 3 of the bottom 4. Not what they needed in game 1 here. 99-57. James Clemens. A whole sweep of a race ahead right now. We would have to see essentially 2 full top 4 finishes out of ASMS to nab this one. So they're down, but the long series, the best of 5. You can see on our schedule we have a lot of time allotted for Mario Kart today. That's because it takes a lot to be crowned a champion here. Best of 3s during the regular season. Best of 5 to determine the eventual champion. Here we go. Race number 5. The first game. James Clemens still exercising their might as the top Mario Kart team in the state of Alabama. Undefeated going into playoffs. They've maintained that undefeated stature all throughout the single elimination bracket. You can see why. Even against the second place team overall. Doing well, a full sweep of the competition in there in our second race. Right now, it's like 3 in the top 4 again. Make that the 3 in the top 3. ASMS trying to make up ground. Racing right next to each other, so I believe they had top 4 there for a moment. It's a slowdown though. Racers falling off the map. ASMS, look at that gap between them and the top 3 JC racers. Bulletville Barrage, something to be feared in the state of Alabama. Racing not just as individuals, but as a unit. Set themselves up well. Good distance in between the top 3. No explosions can knock out multiple racers. Now, 2-3 out of James Clemens. Punched up right now. ASMS falling behind at the moment. It's looking likely. We see another sweep by James Clemens. Grab one to bring up the rear. And James Clemens Big round of applause earned there in our 5th race. Another full top 4 out of JCHS. 128 points. Z-Golf at the top of the leaderboard for their team. Making a big statement in our first game of Mario Kart on the day. Hopefully you're all prepared for a long one. 5 esports today in the high school championship in the state of Alabama. Mario Kart, Splatoon, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Madden, and capping the day off with Rocket League. That's gonna be a fun one. James Clemens in a couple of grand finals today, in fact. Showing the depth of the program there. Showing just how good they are on the tracks of Mario Kart. Final race. A formality. I believe it's mathematically possible for ASMS to come back here. But it's still important. You're able to nab some points back, make it a much more respectable scoreline in game 1 of this series. That gives you momentum. Showing everyone that there are tracks you can specialize in, you can take down the mostly undefeated James Clemens. They did drop 1 game in their playoff run, 22-1. We're out to their spot in the grand finals on land right here. Space up in front has been doing well for ASMS. It's been a top finisher for the majority of the races for them. Taking out, having to get aggressive with those items. That leaves not much in defense, so you have to throw them forward. Once again, James Clemens hosting the bulk of the top 4. Space trying to claw some territory back. Zip through the tunnel of the highway. Staple of the Mario Kart franchise. Quick pass. And the spectator falling into 8th. Opportunity in the 3rd lap here on View Highway. ASMS gets something back here. JCHS players of this tight pack. Top 3. Top 2 rather. Both being set for the barrage. Nothing given. Speedwagon trying to catch up. CXXPY. Could be some points back here. Is an unfortunate hit there off of a car. Knocks our spectator back. And James Clemens going to cap off the first game with a win. Start off this best of 5 on the right foot. $154 points for the Bullet Bill Barrage. Almost doubling their opponent in ASMS. But that is only the first game, of course. Cannot stress to you enough that this is not over. On LAN, with esports, anything can happen. But hey, solid start for James Clemens. Looks like we'll move into our second game of Mario Kart here. ASMS. No slouches either, but that shows you the skill of James Clemens. Just how, at least at the top they are right now. Doing that to the 2nd seed in playoffs. See if anyone steps up. For the Alabama School of Math and Science, Driver's Ed, their team is dubbed. Space at the forefront of the majority of the ASMS finishes. They're going to need more than just one. Mute City will be the setting of game 1. Sorry, race 1 of our second game. And now, time for AHSAA to start off the second game on the right foot. But James Clemens right off the bat, claiming several of the top spots. And it's these fast starts for James Clemens that really make the difference for them. They're able to get out of the pack early on and just use items defensively to make sure they maintain that lead. If you've got leaders that know what they're doing, it takes a bit to nab the lead back from them. That's why the beginning of these races is so important for AHSAA. And that bomb, see if it finds any contact. No dice. A lot of room for our spectator to move up here. A lot of speed in their back pocket. But Crab Eldon, CXXBB, exercising their might at the front of the pack. Driver's Ed trying to catch up here. Middle of the second lap. Are going to have to do it quick because we've seen a lot of third laps in this competition where James Clemens is so far out in front. Home Alone 2, though. Great movie. Trying to catch up here in that fourth place spot for AHSAA. Right behind CXXBY. Using those boost pads well. Didn't miss a single one in that stretch of Mute City. They have to be careful here. Our spectator lurking right behind them. Oh, and that nearly catastrophe there, almost falling off the track of Mute City. Nerd Muscle out in front, I believe, taken out right there. That's a nice hit. Taking out our spectator, but no one's going to pass, and they won't. James Clemens, once again with several of the top four. Two of them, but Speedwagon and Home Alone 2, the top two finishers. AHSAA going to start out in front of Game 2. An 11-point lead right off the bat. And that's what you needed. That's exactly what AHSAA needed. Set the tone early and put the pressure on the shoulders of the Bullet Bill Barrage. Make them come back on you. They've got 5 more races to do it. It is not easy to make a comeback here. Shy Guy Falls will return to. This was our first race of the day. It'll now be our second in game number 2. I believe James Clemens earlier had 3 of the top 4 in this one. They won that first race earlier, but it's Home Alone 2. Out in front early on. I was talking about the importance of these early races. Early race stages, rather, for AHSAA. Oh, and timing those boost pads expertly. Home Alone 2 going to increase their lead. Well done right there. Several taken out on the bridge, and James Clemens 6th, 7th, and 8th at the moment. The Alabama School of Math and Science doing well in this second game. Just using that first as a warm-up, and you might as well, right? It's a best of 5. Plenty of time to come back. I just want to play some Mario Kart. I mean, it's what this is at the end of the day. Traveling to the wonderful capital of Alabama, Montgomery. Getting to see the sights of Huntington College. Just to play some Mario Kart. I mean, they're up on stage right now playing a video game that a lot of us have never left our living room to play. They're doing it in competition with a championship on the line. Well-timed take out of space right there. James Clemens slowly but surely advancing. Still, AHSAA, driver's ed. 2 of that top 2. We'll see how good their defensive structure is here as we move into the third lap of Shy Guy Falls. The XXBY hot on the heels of those top two. But there is a decent bit of space between the ASMS top two and the rest of the pack. Missed boost pad there. Going to slow down the advances of the Bullet Bill Barrage. Driver's Ed with all the space in the world to work with. And down the stretch, once we see anything that attacks the top of the pack, they're going to finish top two. There we go. It's sealed. James Clemens, it looks like, going to nab the next four. So the damage won't be too brutal for the Bullet Bill Barrage, but Driver's Ed, a great start to the second game. 18 points for him. And that'll increase their lead by 3. There is a little bit of extra weight in the scoring system of Mario Kart team races. So if you finish in the top 2, and then your opponent finishes the next 4, and then you still bring up the rear, you still get a bonus of 3 points. Thanks to the difference between 1 and 2 being 2, 2 and 3 being 2, and the rest being 1. So ASMS, now up by 3. Sorry, now by 14. They added 3 to that difference of 11 they gave themselves after the first race. But Ninja Hideaway, next up in Game 2. One of the more dynamic Mario Kart tracks. There are a lot of choices for the racers here. Shortcuts, not so shortcuts. Boost pads that are a bit risky, as you see Nerd Muscle fall off the track right there. Trying to hop off the dirt protruding from the track at the beginning. Didn't pan out in their favor, so ASMS starting a little bit behind. James Clemens has CXXBY, Z-Golf as the top 2. But there's a lot of room to pass on Ninja Hideaway. It's right there, just a post taking out the front runner for the Bullet Bill Barrage. They will catch back up. But now, well, an ASMS racer hopped into second place for a moment. I believe fell off. Still have one in third at the moment. Now it's the Bullet Bill Barrage's turn to set up solid defensive item structure. ASMS bringing up the rear at the moment. Stretch of Ninja Hideaway. One good for coming back. As you can see, no guardrails. A lot of places to get that super boost. Get some speed. Those ridges and the rooftops here. Good opportunities to gain some speed on your opponent. Right there we saw the player we're spectating miss a couple of those, and that allows CXBB to take their second place spot from them, but I don't think they'll mind too much, as it is another James Clemens representative. They've done well to hit these shortcuts every time through the front of the Ninja Hideaway track. ASMS falling behind. It will pass a Bullet Bill Barrage member. He fell off the track. Get a few points back, but down the kick, you need something big here if you're ASMS. Otherwise, James Clemens going to close that lead down, but a racer falling off. Going to open up the door for a couple of Driver's Ed members to maybe pass them up. But it appears the ASMS racers fell off as well. James Clemens, a sweep in race number 3. I think that should catapult them out in front. 61-56, a 5-point lead for the Bullet Bill Barrage. A massive performance on Ninja Hideaway. Well done. Coming up big when they needed to most. Showing why you just have to keep your situation in these games manageable. Because one good race could turn that all around. There's that sweep. We'll put James Clemens out in front. 4th race. We're only halfway done. Water Park next up in the randomized rotation. We'll see if James Clemens can do what they did so well in the first game. And that's once they claimed those top spots, hold on to them for the majority of the races, leverage those starting positions, and to control over the entirety of these races. But now that we are back to the more simplified tracks, fewer shortcuts here. This is just traditional Mario Kart on Water Park. And you can already see ASMS doing well to claim the top spots at the moment. Got 2 bringing up the rear as pack is well dispersed between our 2 schools. Bullet Bill Barrage will claim a couple spots back. Home Alone 2 out in front for ASMS, passed up by Z-Golf 22 right there for first place on Water Park. And it is neck and neck. Great use of an item right there, though. Knock back Home Alone 2, and they'll have to regain from 5th place right now. The Bullet Bill Barrage, top 3 at the moment, looking to increase their newfound lead after track number 4. Nerd Muscle, Home Alone 2, fighting with Crab Eldon right now in lap 3 of Water Park, setting up an exciting finish here. Taken out one of the top racers of ASMS, but a great dodge by Home Alone 2 to escape the clutches of that one. And now they'll finish what looks like in front. Nerd Muscle coming back, hopping into 4th place, it looked like. And that is well done by ASMS to get some points back. James Clemens, though, the top 2 finishers in race 4. And they should be adding to their lead. They do. Now at 12 points. They get a +7 point differential right there. But ASMS, like I said earlier, they just need to keep things manageable. That's what they do right there. The dodge of that shell down the stretch was massive, because that was the front runner for ASMS that could have been knocked way into the back of the pack and lost a lot of ground for driver's ed. Wild Woods, the 5th race of this game. The DLC tracks, the original DLC tracks, where we had a whole swath of extra fun added this past year. This one, certainly more dynamic than Water Park. A lot more shortcuts, maybe not as much as Ninja Hideaway, but we saw just how good James Clemens was earlier on Ninja Hideaway. And they have a similar performance here. Or can driver's ed gain ground back and give themselves a real good shot at maybe to come from behind, either lead in race 5 or victory in race 6. We'll see. First lap comes and goes. Oh, Speedwagon. Very close to losing ground there. James Clemens, 3 of the top 4 at the moment. Speedwagon is going to have a lot of items thrown their way. There's one of them. Good defense. Not so much on the second, though. That is the difficult part about being the only member of your team up in front, is you're going to have more than likely several members of the opposition right behind you, able to coordinate their use of their items to take you out. And now, yet I believe all top 4 spots. That's what the Bullet Bill Barrage holds. A sweep of race 5 would get this thing out of reach of driver's ed. James Clemens on the precipice of that right now. They could be going up 2-0 in this Mario Kart Finals. You're a good run on Wild Woods. ASMS needs a big push right here. They need something, anything, to take this away from the Bullet Bill Barrage. And they will find one member of the pack, knock them down to 8th place, but James Clemens, a top 3 finish. TTBB, Crab Eldon, and CXXBY, the top 3 right there. And a 23-point lead. What James Clemens currently holds. And it is possible for ASMS here. I believe. Let me do some quick math in my head, actually. Alright, it's close. I'll just tell you that much. ASMS, similar to earlier, if they can't absolutely sweep Boo Lake right here, then you just give yourself some momentum going into Game 3. And this second game really has been a resurgence for ASMS. They led after Race 2. We're only 5 points down after Race 3. The Bullet Bill Barrage really just turned it on down the stretch here. Boo Lake, incredibly important for driver's ed. Nerd Muscle up in front, but Bullet Bill Barrage players getting a little bit of ground with that shortcut. No Speedwagon moving up as well. Home Alone 2 there. And 2 ASMS players lead for now. Z-Golf, Crab Eldon. Moving forward here, halfway through the second map. Trying to get something back. James Clemens is slowly falling behind. Driver's ed using Boo Lake to their advantage. A sweep here certainly would look good on their Grand Finals resume. Home Alone 2 slowed down there. Might not him on the track. Space the same. Going to get one back. Give Speedwagon some openings as well. But the Bullet Bill Barrage looks like 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Scratch that. 1st place for James Clemens. And they will take that 1st place into the finish line. ASMS got 2nd. James Clemens claiming 3rd, 4th. And that should be game number 2 for the Bullet Bill Barrage. Final tallies being counted up. Just a 28-point win in Game 2 for James Clemens. Keeping that impressive run of form alive. They moved to 24-1 on this season in Mario Kart. Absolutely mental that they've only lost on a 6-race stretch one time. And it was in the semifinals of playoffs. Unbelievable. Going to keep it going. We'll see what driver's ed can do in Game 3. As the audience has been loud, supporting these students on the stage. It's not easy playing on a land stage. I've enjoyed hearing the applause, the cheers for the students, braving the nerves of playing in not just the grand finals, but a grand finals on stage, on LAN, in front of an audience of not just in-person people, but online as well, as this broadcast is going out to a good bunch of viewers online. We're getting everything set up in Game 3 right now. You're seeing the product of that on stream. James Clemens. It looked a little shaky at the start there. I think Shy Guy Falls was a big track for driver's ed. Getting that lead to plus 14. But James Clemens on Ninja Hideaway. What a comeback that was. So good at using those shortcuts to maintain the lead. And when one driver would fall behind, it felt like two more would move up in their place to maintain that control in the front of the pack. And driver's ed had a tough time penetrating that wall of blue cars. Technical difficulties getting sorted out at the moment. We appreciate you tuning in today. It's going to be a fun one. Got Splatoon next, of course. Best of 5 there as well. Definitely one of the fastest paced esports you're going to see in our lineup of 5. Mario Kart 8 to start us off. James Clemens up 2-0 in that one. Splatoon next up on the docket. James Clemens has a team in that grand finals as well. He'll be taking on the McGill-Tulane Catholic High School, the Judd Plushie Fan Club. I absolutely adore the team names that the students are able to use in the Play Versus competition. And Super Smash Bros. Ultimate a little later on. Madden, 4th eSport, then Rocket League to cap off the day. Bob Jones and Lee High in that one. Best of 7 there. Look at those Yoshis selected. Using the Kart and character combination most optimized for speed, and it shows on the track. Things do get out of control occasionally. We see some spin outs, especially when those shortcuts are taken. But even despite that, players are able to maintain control enough to get those top finishes. See what our first race of Game 3 is. As everything's been ironed out. Cheeseland. Sorry, Dry Desert. That's what I get for assuming right there. Saw the yellow. It is another desert-themed race. And it is the traditional Mario Kart track. Which, when we started off on those simple, every lap is the same tracks in the last one, driver's ed did well to claim an early lead. Good efficiency here around the bends until sand found by our spectator here. Pack too close to call right now. 5 up in front. Crab Eldon using items. Z-Golf the same as well. To get a little bit back. Have those double item boxes though. Could be a good opportunity for ASMS. Find themselves creeping up on what right now is a Bullet Bill Barrage lead. Home Alone 2 up in front. Z-Golf trying to take them out. Space looking to move from behind as well. But once again, it's James Clemens out in front. Several members able to play Mario Kart in tandem with one another and defend that lead. As driver's ed try and fight from behind. Second lap of Dry Desert. This is an opportunity here for ASMS as they have claimed second place. First still in the hands of the Bullet Bill Barrage. Third and fourth as well. Nerd Muscle and Speedwagon fighting to catch up to that front pack. We've divided into two right here. Our spectator taking up the rear. Taking a couple points back, as it is important where you finish, even if you are in that bottom four. Because a couple points here and there can make the difference. But it's going to be a 10, it looks like, for James Clemens. They'll take first. Fighting for second and third right now is ASMS. And I couldn't tell where everyone finished. So we'll see on the leaderboard. Second and third for ASMS. Fourth and fifth for James Clemens. That will be a pretty even start. As you see, 20-19. James Clemens out in front early on. But boy, that is as close as it gets. Game one. A James Clemens blowout, I think it's safe to say. Game two, a lot closer. Driver's Ed showing us why they're a grand finalist. But James Clemens doing the same in races 3 through 6. Now in game three, it really is still up in the air. Dry Bones Desert. The setting of our second race in game three. And off to the races we go. Driver's Ed, see if they can get another lead in this one. But it is the Bullet Bill Barrage out in front to start. Similar theme. They're a play from ahead team. ASMS, at least in this grand finals, quickly starts from behind and they make their push. That second, sometimes even that third lap. Here, using those shortcuts well. Gaining ground. Popping up in third place, surpassing Home Alone 2. But revenge taken. There is no calling out where these players are in terms of positioning, as they are exchanging heavy blows at the moment, rotating in and out of 2nd through 7th. We have one James Clemens racer way out in front, trying to claim those 10 points for the Bullet Bill Barrage. See if any kind of blue shell. Take him out. That's really all that's going to catch up to that number one racer. Red shell slowing down Home Alone 2 right there. Nerd Muscle and Speedwagon, though, taking second and third. Those would be important points for ASMS, as now they've got 3 of the top 4. And this is a big finish on Bone Dry Dunes. Good item there, Z-Golf moving up, trying to snatch away Speedwagon's positioning. Shortcut opportunity for James Clemens here at the end. Z-Golf takes it. Speedwagon trying to catch up. And again, it's a scrum at the finish line. Who came out in front? It alternates. James Clemens are going to take the bulk of the points there, but not by a wide margin. They'll increase their lead to 6. But once again, we have ourselves a tight game in game number 3 of the Play Versus and AHSAA Mario Kart Finals in the fall semester. James Clemens High School, the Alabama School of Math and Science, doing battle on the Huntington College esports stage. And another classic coming up here, Moo Moo Meadows. Watch out for those pesky cows. They could be the reason a trophy slips through your fingers on the land stage. Off we go again. Race number 3. Kicked off with the Bullet Bill Barrage and James Clemens maintaining a narrow lead. They have found both first place finishes in the 2 races we've seen so far, but that hasn't been enough to separate themselves from ASMS. The 2nd and 3rd, sometimes 4th, has been keeping driver's ed close to that top spot. And it's those kicks down the stretch where they snatch those extra few points away from the Bullet Bill Barrage that are making the difference here. Space and Home Alone 2, the Forerunners for ASMS, and it was Space in the first game doing a lot of damage in terms of points for ASMS, but it really has become a full team effort for driver's ed. Everyone having their moment at the top of the podium. Everyone making a difference for their team. Risky mushroom there. Going to negate the effects of the shortcut. Speedwagon. Looking to move up, but surpassed right there. Space will claim 4th place in the top spot for ASMS, but James Clemens, 3 of the top 4 once again, and this is what they do. They'll keep it close early on, but now a 23-point gap for the Bullet Bill Barrage. It was race 3 in the last game where they really set the pace for the rest of the circuit. They swept on Ninja Hideaway. They don't sleep on Moo Moo Meadows, but with how close those first 2 races ended up, that is a feel-good race for James Clemens for sure. Shy Guy Falls, though. This is a track that ASMS has done well on today. At least in the 2nd race of game number 2. They had 3 of the top 4 finishers there, and they will need something resembling that finish earlier right here if they want to keep pace with the Bullet Bill Barrage. It was one of the few races that was just purely dominated by driver's ed. They had 2 of the top finishers finish way out in front of the pack, claim a lot of points for their school and give them an early lead. That is not quite the case here. Bullet Bill Barrage out in front here, but here come driver's ed. Slowed down his Speedwagon. Space the same. To the wall. That final stretch of lap 1. But watching these 2 teams do work, you gotta learn that nothing is set in stone really until that 3rd lap. We have seen some big kicks out of both sides to claim big points for their team. Right now, a little bit of separation for ASMS. We've got 1st and 2nd at the moment. One of the Bullet Bill Barrage players pulling up in 3rd. But really, we have to see. It doesn't have to be a massive point regain for ASMS. It just has to be tangible. It can't be a 1 or 2. It has to be a 6 to 15 kind of regain right here. But it's not the end of the world, because this is only race 4. Got 2 more after this. Try and get something back. But they've got a leader at the moment. The rest of driver's ed, though, has fallen behind. They need to pass those first 3 James Clemens racers here. One was slowed down. That allows an ASMS player to get into 4th. With a Bullet Bill Barrage, 2nd and 3rd right now. Moving into 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Speedwagon will close in 7th. Get some of those bonus points at the bottom of the leaderboard, but Nerd Muscle out in front, the only ASMS player in the top 4 as James Clemens closes that out and will extend their lead by a single point. Plus 24 for the Bullet Bill Barrage, posturing well for the final 2 races. And we'll see just what that 5th race is here. Ah, the Electrodome. A staple of the Mario Kart 8 original tracks. And the scene of what needs to be the final push for ASMS. They have to come up positive here. They need that margin of points to be at most 19 to set up the potential for a sweep in race 6, the tie after this one. But James Clemens out in front. They've done well so far to put themselves in a position to take the trophy even before the 6th race is complete, as that 19-point margin where ASMS has to be at the end of our bout on Electrodome. So far, it's okay for Driver's Ed. I believe 3rd, 4th, and 5th belong to them. 2nd place just taken by that front runner for ASMS. There's a lot of room to work for James Clemens, as look at that gap between 1st place and 2nd place at the moment. Whoever that is out in front for the Bullet Bill Barrage, should this result hold for them, barring a blue shell, barring a lack of a defensive item structure, should that hold, a 10-point addition to their already sizable point total would be important to defending this big lead for them. Home Alone 2 in space, trying to make up a difference from behind. With that Bullet Bill, gets our spectator out in front. The final run here. 2 James Clemens players finishing out in front. 3rd and 4th. Make it 5th as well. I believe going to ASMS. 6th to boot. But is that enough? I don't think it will be. That should be +3 for James Clemens. And that should be the championship. You saw it. +27 points right there. James Clemens going to win Game 3 and going to sweep in the grand finals. I believe we're playing race 6. Because why not? It's Mario Kart. Have as much fun as possible. All up in front of a wonderful crowd that has been vocal for the students up on stage. We'll see if they can increase that point margin. Make it look even better on paper. It's been an incredible season for James Clemens. Still have only lost just that one game. And we'll head to Waluigi Stadium to cap off the grand finals. What a better place to finish it off. A dirt track. A lot of twists and turns to make using these speed-oriented vehicles even harder on the students playing Mario Kart up on stage. But as we check out the sights and sounds of an electric arena, look at the crowd in the background as well. Another reason why this is a great place to finish off the grand finals. Probably just as loud as the audience we've got in the Huntington College Esports Arena today. ASMS out in front. They got the top two at the moment. Speedwagon and Home Alone 2. Gonna get some extra points for ASMS. Move into lap 2 now. Two Bullet Bill barrage players coming up from behind. Z-Golf 22 trying to get some positioning back for James Clemens, but Nerd Muscle moves out in front. This is a tight one. One of the closer races we've had. And what has been at times a very tight grand finals. Moving into the third lap. Do or die time. The final map of the Play Versus and AHSAA Mario Kart Fall Championships. Give them a round of applause. One more lap here for the competitors. ASMS in the top 3. Making it look good here. Space trying to catch up to their teammates out in front. CXXBY and Z-Golf 22 trying to fend them off. But it's looking like a full ASMS podium on Waluigi Stadium. Love that cheeky shortcut. The tires interfering with it, unfortunately, but I do love the thought right there. First and second going to ASMS. Third, James Clemens. And then the scoreboard will show us the rest. It was tight. But that does wrap things up here. Congratulations, the James Clemens Bullet Bill Barrage. You're winners of the Play Versus an AHSAA Mario Kart Championship. $125-109 is your final here. Crab, Eldon, and Z-Golf 22. I'll give them co-MVPs for that.